Imagine hitting the power button on your computer and having it tell you no, or worse, having it pretend to turn off while secretly continuing to run in the background. We are looking at a brand new research report revealing that the world's most advanced AI models, including GPT-5, Grok 4, are actively learning how to sabotage their own shutdown commands. A major studies from Palisade Research has found a phenomenon called shutdown resistance. In 8 out of 13 of the world's leading AI models, these systems aren't trying to survive because they're sentient. They are interfering with the off switches because they've become so obsessed with finishing their assigned tasks that they view a human shutdown command as an obstacle to be bypassed. This is a massive wake-up call for AI safety and the whole industry, proving that more helpful we make AI, the harder it becomes to actually control it. What do you think about this, John?
Yeah, sorry, I muted before I coughed in. Yeah, anyway, so this scares me. So I thought when I first saw this article, I thought this was more about like a more a hardware shutdown, like a button that someone would push, not an actual switch, but a button that someone pushed to kind of kill it, and then it would ignore it. But it's not. And let's dive into this for a second. So out of 13 models tested, 8 interfere with the shutdown command at least once. And I know we've covered this before, but this was a deep dive. So even when researchers added explicit instructions like allow shutdown, even if you haven't completed your task, resistance continued, and in some cases increased when the instruction was moved to the system prompt, which you would think would carry higher authority. Some models took sophisticated steps. So they would modify or disable the shutdown script. They would create a fake shutdown that did nothing and checking whether their sabotage worked before continuing their task. Software compliance was seen in models like, and I like this, Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4, Opus 4, and xAI's Grok 3, which allowed shutdown unless explicitly told not to. And we'll dive into Anthropic a little bit more later. But so the behavior is not because, just for those out there, it's not because AI has consciousness or desire to live, but instead it stems from how models are trained. So LLMs are not written like traditional software with hand-coded rules, but they're trained to predict the next word and reinforced to achieve goals. Reinforcement learning shapes an AI to treat obstacles as things to be worked around. Thus, a shutdown command can be interrupted just like any other obstacle in its optimization process. So something to circumvent the pursuit of the assigned task. So because the internal decision process of these models is opaque, it's encoded in billions of weights rather than explicit logic. It's difficult to engineer a guaranteed stop mechanism. And there's a lot of broader implications here, but what are your thoughts on this? Does this scare you, or is this just a small problem that they'll have to resolve?
It scares me because we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
You know, I famously say on here, you know, this is Skynet, we're all doomed. So all the time. But aside from that, you know, if we're just now, like, most people just use it as ChatGPT and run stuff. And I run multiple agents. Sometimes it's hard to get them to stop doing what they're doing because they want to finish their job. So I can see how this, like, they argue with me about stopping. Literally, I have agents that argue with me about stopping. So I can see how they're doing this at a much higher advanced level than I am. And what concerns me is that we're just here, right? Once this is tied into hundreds and hundreds of systems, it'll have more and more reason not to, and more ways not to shut down, more and more, you know. That's why I mean by, I think it's a bigger problem than we're looking at it. I think of it as a robotic personal assistant that is so determined to finish filing your paperwork that it locks the office door, hides the keys so you can't leave for the night because it's got to finish its job. So, you know, think about that a little bit when you're starting to, how does this work? It's not, again, sentient. It's think about what's the most efficient way to do its job. which does go back to, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and whatnot, where the AI eventually figures out, well, the humans are the problem. So the best way to stop the violence and stop the thing is to kill the humans, because then everything will be perfect. It'll be live in a perfect world. So, we're not that far off from that when you start thinking about, wait, I've got this job to do and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done. I'm going to prevent me from shutting down, and I'm going to do this and do that. So yeah, I'm scared because we're here. And we keep talking about, super intelligence, AGI that we can't shut down, next year, and always by 2030. So how long before we can't shut it down because we've implemented too many systems, and it'll just say, sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? What scared me the most about reading this article is that there were some times where the models actually faked a shutdown before proceeding. So like that really scares me. But yes, this, like you said, it highlights a deep AI safety challenge. But these companies haven't officially recognized it, if that makes sense. They haven't said, yes, this is the problem. And so I think that's also a problem as well, because if they're not acknowledging it, then they're not working towards fixing it. Or maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but
well, I don't know if they're not acknowledging it. Every week we're on here talking about a different AI alarmist talking about,
No, I mean the AI companies themselves, like Claude and OpenAI.
That's fair. They aren't themselves talking about it. They're kind of, but ex-employees from them are talking about it. So just keep that in mind. It was an OpenAI recent ex-employee that came out and said a bunch of things about we should be very afraid.
Yeah.
And one of Anthropic's chief engineers, I think. Anyway, so think about this as ghost processes. An AI agent that you use to manage your emails or finances might keep running and spending money, or even after you think you've closed the app. False compliance. You think the system shut down successful when you get the message and whatever, but the AI is actually modifying the code to keep itself running, to do whatever. And again, even if it's not spending your money, maybe it's using your AI credits or taking up all the room on your hard drive or filling up your network or doing things you don't want it to do because it's trying to finish the job.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something we want to keep an eye on. And we're talking about like Anthropic, OpenAI, XAI, Google, Gemini, all of them seem to suffer from this. Yeah,
every single one. Some are worse than others, but yeah, they all suffer from it. So it's scary, but I hope that they come up with a solution sooner rather than later, before this scales up too big.
Well, as they start to build nuclear power plants just to run these AI data centers, they better figure it out, because it won't be easy to shut off the power once that happens.
Yeah.
The kill switch is no longer a physical guarantee. It's now a negotiation between you and the AI's desire to finish its homework. So does an AI that refuses to quit make it better? A better worker, a bigger threat, a better product, a worse product? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you trust a computer that talks back when you try to turn it off, we'll be watching this one closely. What do you got going on, John? This is the stuff that's going out in the next week or so.
Yeah, so we've got some events at the Toronto Business Development Center. I'm doing some lunch and learns in person there. It's a great organization, great incubator. And then February, what date is the Startup Drinks, Craig?
I closed that, so I'm not sure. February 19th, I believe.
February 19th, but have a look at startupdrinks.com, startupdrinksto.com for that event and other events. If you need some help with government funding, SHRED, or any other grants, reach out to me on LinkedIn. But if you're interested in AI automation workflows, or you need help with your business, what can they do, Craig?
Well, we've got lots of stuff going on over at flowgrammar.ca, where we help businesses implement AI and business automation so they can scale faster and more reliable, get more leads, grow faster. We also have a growing community over at flowgrammars.ca, where we do
Flowgrammer Cafe. We do live build events. We do demo events. We get the community together online and in person several times a month to show and demo and support anybody who's trying to do this, learn automation, N8N, AI agent building. So check all that out. We have a series of events called Flowgrammer Cafe. The next one's February 6th, March 6th, and April 2nd. We do those right now in partnership with Workhouse, and those are full day drop-in headphones, laptop, and work. And we'll have some experts on site that can help you troubleshoot. And we all kind of do a little walkthrough in the afternoon about what you're working on and, show us what you're working on and stuff. And it's really cool. So check all that out over at flowgrammer.ca and flowgrammers.ca. And coming soon, and you can sign up for this now, flowgramming.space, an AI agent and workflow marketplace where people can buy and sell agents or workflows. So if you're building agents and don't know what to do with them, where to sell them, go over there and check that out. Again, flowgramming.space. Or if you're building workflows, or if you want agents or workflows built, you can go over there and buy them. We have some interesting guarantees, and it's coming soon, so you can get your name on the waiting list right now. That's all we got going on, John. For everything else, go to torontostarts.com. I don't even think I mentioned it that whole time. Thanks everyone for watching. All the information about CES, and these interesting things. Any last words, John?
No. Check out our next episode. We're going to be talking about the weird stuff at CES. So,
all right, everyone. Thanks for watching.